Welcome back to Christina's Garage Gearhead in Training. I'm here for day 2 of PRI in Indianapolis, Indiana at the Convention Center. I'm trying to walk and not run into people. I really would like to talk to some more racers today, learn a little bit more about different types of racing, how they got into it, and maybe how people that are interested might be able to get into the industry as well, maybe get into racing. And yeah, let's walk around and see who we can meet. I am with Charlie with NASCAR and ARCA.
Yep.
I don't know much about NASCAR. The only thing I know is that my husband liked watching it on TV. So would you mind sharing with me like a little bit of history, how it started?
Well, NASCAR itself started back in the 40s. Everyone knows the story of racing on the beach down in Daytona. ARCA itself started in 1953 up in Toledo, Ohio. John and Mildred Markham, who were friends of the France family, started their own racing series up in the Midwest, thankfully where I'm from. And we've been going strong now for, I think this will be our 72nd season. And NASCAR itself just celebrated its 75th anniversary last year. So a lot of great history, and it all dates back to those early races on the beach down in Daytona.
It's so cool that there's so much history there, and if people are interested in getting into racing in some way, shape, or form with NASCAR, what would you suggest people do to get started?
So there's a lot of different ways. I mean, if there are 10,000 people that work in NASCAR, there are 10,000 different ways they got started. But the one way that I could really recommend is go find your local NASCAR sanctioned short track, your NASCAR roots track all across the country. There's almost, I believe, nearly 80 of those racetracks scattered all around the country. We've got 2 of them, Flat Rock and Toledo Speedway, that are sanctioned by ARCA. Go to those local racetracks, whether it's as a fan, whether it's working with one of your neighbors who has a race car. Volunteer to come and work at the racetrack. I got my start, I volunteered to be the announcer at Toledo Speedway. They didn't have an announcer, and I volunteered, and 25 years later, here I am.
That's really cool. I really like that. And the fact that you guys are so big, it can be super intimidating for someone that's like, oh, that's not even possible.
It's really strange because I often wonder how I ended up here. but it really is. It's all about making those relationships and meeting people, and meet as many people as you can, and create as many relationships as you can, and you never know. That's what happened with me. Is I was the announcer at Toledo Speedway, and I knew somebody who worked for a NASCAR Truck Series team, and the very next year that Truck Series team needed a public relations representative, and it's just one thing leads to another, and the next thing you know, you're doing that job. And then you meet someone else, and then you get another opportunity to go and do something else. So meet as many people as you can, always within reason. If you can do it, say yes. Volunteer to do things. And if somebody asks you to do it and you can do it, do it. And that's really what it comes down to, is building those relationships and meeting as many people as you can, and trying to get as many different experiences as you can. And whether it's on the non-competitor side of things, like me, or whether it's working on the race cars themselves. There are, in virtually every city in this country, there are hundreds of people who own race cars. Go to those local racetracks and meet those people and ask them if they need help. They do. I guarantee you they need help, whether it's just getting their car off the trailer at the end of the night, or sweeping the floor in the garage after a race at the local dirt track and there's a pile of mud and dirt. They all need help, and that's how you do it. You start at the very bottom and you work your way up.
And in order to find those tracks, is there like a website that they can go to?
ARCARacing.com and NASCARroots.com.
Awesome.
Yep.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you, Christina. You got it. Thanks for being here.
I'm here with Alex. He is with Laughlin Motorsports. You said you test drive this car?
Yeah, the BLACKBIRDX. Yeah, it's a Factory X car, runs NHRA. I haven't raced it in competition. I do race full time, but these guys hit me up just because I've actually raced basically everything in drag racing and pretty versatile, luckily. And the official driver wasn't able to be there for testing, and so I've been around, flown out a few times to make some laps in this thing, and it's a heck of a car for sure.
What's the difference between test driving and regular driving?
So testing is like, I guess what you would consider like practice. Being at the race, you've got qualifying, and then you've got rounds of eliminations, and that's it. You don't get to make practice runs or try to figure stuff out. Every run at an actual race matters, and so the actual normal driver is the one that is there for that. And in most cases, it's usually the driver that does testing also. However, like I said, in this case, he wasn't available, so I hopped in. And so the guys that own this car, Geoff Turk and his crew, they made some changes to it, trying to make it faster, wanted to see if it works, and sometimes the only way to do that is to take it to the track and make some consistent runs and see if it got any quicker.
How long have you been doing it for?
Oh my gosh, I've been racing since I was 9. I'm 35 years old. I've been drag racing since I was 15, so now I guess I've been drag racing for 20 years, which feels crazy to say.
Was it a family thing? Like, how did you get in so young?
My dad was into motorsports and put me in a go-kart when I was 9. He did a little bit of drag racing back in the day, mainly like tractor pulling, and so we started in karting, went to legend cars, did tractor pulling, drag racing. I say these days I've raced everything but a bike and a boat.
Hey, you're gonna have to check that off your bucket list
at some point. The bike is next, yeah, for sure.
So somebody who's interested in getting into racing that doesn't have family members or friends in it, do you have suggestions for them?
Yeah, absolutely. My first go-to would be karting. Bang for your buck. It is the most fun that you can have. It teaches you a lot about motorsports, how to work on things, especially for the younger generations and getting into it. For the most part, it's extremely affordable. Junior dragsters are also a good option. Yeah, just being able to do something that you could be at the track, if it's a family thing, and kind of make it something that you all like to do together, that certainly helps.
I love that. If somebody's interested in following you and your racing career, where should they find you?
Alex Laughlin 40 on everything.
On everything.
Yep.
Cool, awesome. Thank you so
all right.
much,
You're so
and
welcome.
I look forward to looking at everything that you're doing. Yeah, okay. Do I? Goober. Okay, so do I do right or left leg first?
I usually put.
I'll go back.
I'll show you how I do it.
Okay.
You just watch.
Okay.
Because I don't know.
You just have the muscle memory. Okay, right leg first. And then, okay, down underneath. I'm a little bit shorter, so it might be, because he's tall. It's snug as a bug in there. Okay, now getting out. All right.
If he was a true gentleman, he would take his wheel off.
Take the wheel. Oh, you can.
That's only for wusses.
Okay, so you did right, and then under.
Look at you like.
Wow.
I wish I could let you start it, but they'd probably keep me out of here.
Well, I haven't. Wow, this is cool. It's slippery.
Likes me now, but if I had you started, they probably wouldn't like it.
It's really slippery on the bottom.
Yeah, because we oil that, keep it from rusting.
Oh, okay.
We'll
Wow.
off later, but we don't usually have people in it.
Yeah, slipping and slip. This is cool.
You're gonna build what as a Camaro?
A 69 Camaro in my dad's memory.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I have everything to do.
Do you? The guy that helped me build this car, he's building a 69 Camaro for a kid, and he's building his dad's memory. And
Wow.
his dad is a guy who I went to school with, and I remember the car.
I feel like I need to talk to people and share stories.
Anyway, he's building a 69
That's
Camaro
cool.
for his dad's memory too.
Okay, now you said reverse the.
So I put that one out. You gotta grab the steering wheel.
Grab the.
There you go. Move yourself out. There you go. Reverse the brush.
Yay! I'm here with Warren with Scoggin Dickey Parts Center, and I was walking by and seeing the Camaro. I was really interested to see what are you guys all about?
So, Christina, we are a Scoggin Dickey Parts Center, Scoggin Dickey Chevrolet, and we do, besides being an actual Chevrolet dealership that sells new and used cars and has a service department, We basically are, our complete custom race shop. We do 3,000 horsepower engines and down. We are Chevrolet Performance's largest dealer. We have about a $20 million inventory in crate engines and transmissions, and we do Mopar stuff now too. So we have a Mopar store that's relatively new. It's only about 5 years old, but we're almost 100 years old on the Chevrolet side. So we're a little biased, of course. We like going fast either way, but we've got the Camaro here behind us that kind of catches everybody's attention.
Is it like family owned? Because the name is different. It's not Chevy. So how does that work?
It's still single family owned. It's a Scoggin Dickey Chevrolet, but the parts side and performance is Scoggin Dickey Parts Center.
Okay. How did that combination and partnership happen?
Two different families. One are the Scoggins, one are the Dickeys, and then let's see, it was started back in 1929, and then throughout the years, it just continued to grow. It was actually a Buick dealership as well, and we still are, but it was Scoggin Dickey Chevrolet Buick, and we still operate under that, for the new car and vehicle sales side.
That's really awesome.
So sometime in the 70s, we really got into performance, started diving off deep, and as it went from, just general performance to, GM racing. There was obviously the GM Goodwrench motors and stuff back in the day. Then it was, besides Chevrolet Performance, you remember GM Performance Parts. There's all those tags, and it just kind of changes names and logos. It's all the same stuff.
So you guys are more specific for performance then?
Correct, on the parts center side.
Okay, got it.
And besides, obviously being a GM dealership, we have about 300 aftermarket brands that we warehouse distribute for.
Okay.
So all the stuff at the back, most of that's all aftermarket. We have some of our own in-house, parts and pieces that we make for these engines. Just kind of a little bit of everything for a good summary. But again, we're about 100 years old on the GM side, so most of our product and inventory kind of leans that direction.
Okay.
The Hemi stuff is about 5 years old now, so we're really new on it. But we've got two cars that make almost 1,400 horsepower to the ground. We're doing a lot of testing on them, lots of different fuels and blowers and heads. We're getting a whole lot closer on the Hemis.
So this one in particular, would you mind telling me a little bit about it?
Yeah, this one behind me is a Copo Camaro. It is a 1 of 1 for 16. They only made one LT Copo in 2016, and this is it. So you can order these as factory race cars.
Wow.
They're central office production orders. They only made 69 every year. And they're designed to go, turnkey right off the floor to go racing. You can order them with different engine packages in them. So from lower horsepower to high horsepower to fit different classes in the racing series that you want to run in. So this one particularly makes, just around 600, 650 horsepower. Should be a 9-second car, brand new off the showroom floor. They have these available to be, in the 1,300 horsepower range that are blown supercharged LS engines. They run in the mid to high 8s.
Wow.
So this is the same car, factory built, by Chevrolet Performance, with a roll cage, parachute, everything ready to go.
So it's for drag racing?
For drag racing, yep.
Okay. And then you said you have other cars too. Do those do drag racing as well, or different types of racing?
All the Copos are designed for drag racing.
Okay.
That's the only one that Chevrolet Performance offers. They used to offer chassis. CRC stood for Camaro Rolling Chassis. And so it was basically this same car that was gutted. So no motor, no trans, but they were still painted, rolling with brakes and everything ready to go. I actually have one of those for sale too. It's a 2015 model, but they're brand new. Never been run, never been assembled. And this one here is for sale as well today.
Wow.
So these are the only two we have right now. We've got a fleet of a couple of these that we keep in the showroom back home, but none of those are for sale yet.
Well, that's kind of cool because a lot of these around here aren't for sale. So
Yeah.
if they're like, I want a race car, you got one right here.
Almost everything in the booth has a price. Actually, yes, everything in the booth has a price. We'll
That's
sell
awesome.
the booth too. Everything can go.
That's awesome. Well, if someone is interested in getting into the industry, doing what you do, either a dealer or like all the different things that you guys do, how would someone be able to get started if they don't know anybody or have like an in?
If you don't have any connections like that, the easiest thing to do would be to go to your local racetrack and start participating. You don't have to actually, run a car down the track if you don't have one. But just going to talk around and, see the spectators, see what they're interested in, walk down the vendor midway at every event. We do a bunch of NMCA events every year too.
Okay.
They're great for gathering a feel of different classes and what that looks like. They're all over the Midwest. obviously SEMA and PRI, if you can get into events like this, it's a kind of a concise, group of people that are in the racing industry. So you can walk around this building and touch and talk to all the manufacturers in one spot. And what you can do here in 3 days may take you 2 or 3 years, going to each one of those events separately. So it's a great if you can get into SEMA or PRI. But outside of that, going to car shows and races.
Awesome.
That's the best way to know is to do it. And
Yeah.
if you don't like it, if you want to change it, if there's something else, that's the way you need to do.
That's kind of what I've been learning for myself, like just showing up and seeing how that goes.
Yeah.
Well, you mentioned you guys have a YouTube. Like, how, if someone wants to check out what you guys are doing, follow along, where can they find you?
You can go to Scoggin Dickey Parts Center. We've got our website. It's sdparts.com. Scoggin Dickey Parts Center, on our YouTube channel. We're on Instagram and Facebook as well. And then come by and see us at a show. We'll basically be at any NMCA events next year. We'll hit a couple streetcar takeovers as well. We'll be at SEMA and PRI as long as we can get back in, and everything else should be out in the open. We're based out of Texas, so a lot of local Texas events. They're welcome to come by and say hi.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Christine.
I'm here with Ross from Viking Performance. I was walking down the aisle and saw a race car with Viking all over it. With the subframe package that my dad purchased from Speed Tech Performance, it had Viking coilovers in the front. So I was like, okay, might as well stop and ask a little bit about it. I know really nothing. All I know is that they're springy. So would you mind explaining what they are and how they work?
Viking Performance, we just make double adjustable shocks, pretty much just dampening. We offer a variety of different spring rate options for both performance and ride quality applications. We started with our base Warrior double adjustable many years ago, and we built off that since, and we've had real good luck with it.
And so how does it even work? So it keeps the car from being bouncy, right?
Yeah, pretty much. So obviously the spring is going to maintain or hold up the weight of the vehicle, obviously. Basically the compression and rebound knobs are what's going to help you with your ride quality and your dampening from keeping it being so springy, as you say. Compression is in, so you'll have 18-way adjustment on your compression, rebound being out as an extension. And you have 18-way there. So as you spin the knob in, it will make it more firm to compress or pull back out.
Okay, and is it hydraulic, or you're saying compression?
There's fluid inside, there's oil inside, and then that oil is all metered down here in the base. So that is how all that is controlled, basically. And then obviously you can change it to your desired ride quality.
How would I go about deciding with the knobs and stuff? Once I don't even have an engine in it. I'm not even close to that point yet. But how do I work on adjusting it to how?
Well, you can always give us a call at Viking. We're always happy to help you guys with tech. As for if you guys still have the boxes, we do offer a tuning guide inside. But we'll just give you some baseline numbers, and then from there, it's to your desire, because you're the one that has to how it rides. So.
Cool.
Yeah.
So if somebody is looking to put Viking coilovers on their vehicle, how would they go about figuring out, depending on what their use is for it, how do they figure out which one they should choose?
You can always call us. Like I said, we have a wide variety of different shocks, valved for specific applications, whether you're doing drag racing, autocross, or anything of that nature. You can order direct from us, or we have plenty of wonderful dealers that you can deal with as well.
Cool. And if someone is interested in getting into working on in the industry doing coilovers or anything like that, and they don't have any contacts, do you have any advice for somebody that's interested in doing this?
Advice, how I got into it is that they kind of found me. I was in cars my whole life. I would just say that, go out, shoot your shot, put in your application, and just make the effort. Someone's usually willing to take a chance on you. So
awesome.
Yep.
Well, if people are wanting to find you guys, do you guys do social media? Where should they look for you?
You can find us at Viking Performance on Instagram, Facebook, and then we also have vi-king.com on the internet. So,
awesome. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm with JJ Mallrich with UMI
UMI
Performance. I was walking by and I just interviewed Viking, and I didn't realize that this is actually your car.
This is, yes.
Would you mind explaining a little bit of your background and what kind of racing you do?
So my background is mainly an IT specialist with the Department of Defense, and but got into racing about 2010 and autocross with some friends way back when I was in high school. And I was like, I had another car that was a fun to drive car, so I figured, hey, let's take it out. Autocross, got hooked. Here I am, 4 cars later with this car. This is about, I've had this car for about 7 years now, and I've done all the suspension on it with the UMI suspension, put the Viking shocks on there. I've been working with Chris King and their group, and they've been providing great support for my car, and we're looking at trying to improve the car even better to where we had a really good year this year. We won 3 different national level events.
Congratulations.
So, thank you. And so next year we're trying to push a little harder and try and increase our wins and see what happens.
So I don't know really much about racing. So you said autocross?
Autocross. It's a lot of people call parking lot racing. But we use big open areas, and they basically set up a road course, and you're doing a lot of slalom you're doing slalom, sweeping turns, offset type turns. So there's never a time where you're just relaxing, where it's like on a road course where you're just driving straight and then you come into a turn. Autocross, you're just sawing at the wheel all the time, but the courses usually only last about 40 to 60, 70 seconds long, so it's not very long, but it's a workout going through the course, and it doesn't look like much, but when you're riding in the car, people they're like really surprised how much you're throwing the car around. So,
and that's why the shocks are important then, right? Because
Exactly,
you're doing a lot
yes.
of right lefts. Do you like stop go stuff too?
So yeah, there's sections where you're really getting into the brakes hard, and where the car is diving down. So yeah, I mean the shocks are such an integral part of the suspension, of how the car is going to handle, maintaining that grip, keeping that tire stuck to the pavement, and making sure you're just getting the best traction possible. So,
and I think I saw a little bit of that over at Speed Tech, or not with Speed Tech when I was at SEMA,
right?
Because they had like 8 cars, and because Speed Tech partnered with Viking, and that's how I have. So that actually makes a lot of sense.
Yes.
That okay, my brain just like connected all of that together.
Yeah. So.
If someone's interested in maybe getting into autocross or just dibble dabbling or learning a little bit more about it, what would you suggest they do?
The great thing about autocross is you can get in with just an entry-level car. You don't have to have anything like a high-performance car. I took my family sedan car that had a V8 in it and just started autocrossing it. And it's so much fun. So, but the like SECA is a great place to start. They got a program called the Starting Line program. That is a good way to get into it, and they kind of introduce you and they get you matched up with instructors and stuff, especially for novices. They'll teach you the best driving line to take and everything. So it's really nice. Even in our local region, in the St. Louis region, we have novice chief, and they walk around, and when we have novices that need help, they'll ride along in the car with them and basically help them out and make them a better driver. So so that's a great place to start. And then Drive AutoX is another fun autocross series that we like to drive in. So you get a lot of runs with them. And the biggest thing is just getting seat time. If you want to become a better autocross driver, it's just get in the seat and just drive as much as you can. So
that makes a lot of sense. Like you're not taking the family minivan.
Yeah, there is some restrictions. They got the height and width requirement on vehicles, so you don't have like a top-heavy car to where it can flip over on side. So there is some restrictions on some vehicles that can be used for autocross. But other than that, it's pretty straightforward. So if you got a family sedan or whatever, you can take it out. We had a lady that's probably I bet she was in her 70s, that had this old convertible, and she was out there. She just wanted to see how the car handled. So she's out there with her helmet on, and then the convertible top down, and just kind of cruising through the course. It was neat to see. So
That's fun.
yeah, it's pretty cool.
If someone wants to follow you, your racing, and how you're doing with your car, do you have social media? Like, how should people follow you?
I do. I got the Instagram and Facebook at Mallrich Motorsports, and you can follow me there, and that's a great place to check out or get a hold of me if you ever have any questions as far as autocross or even the 4th gen platform. If they have that type of car, we can help them out, and so get them steered in the right direction. So
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, JJ. I
Yes.
really appreciate it, and I'm excited to kind of follow along to see you do some races.
oh yeah, appreciate
Well,
it.
that wraps up day 2 of PRI 2023. I am definitely very exhausted because I had some amazing conversations. Again, a lot of them were off camera, but building relationships, and there's some opportunities that I think are going to be coming up in the future that I am very excited to share with you guys when the time comes. But yeah, I am going to go back and edit this video so that you guys can see it, and I will see you tomorrow for day 3.